And welcome back everyone, HigurashiRebel here. So, we managed to defeat Mikamari. I don't want to grind more into, it doesn't help you get anything. So we're gonna continue with 3. Well, after the events of 2, Shion got approached by or scouted by a group called Scientia. And some stuff happened. Won't tell anything yet because we're going to find out stuff later. And also extra information can be found in missing year. That's what happened. Quite some stuff. Like, turns out that there was a real copy for the person's daughter who managed to first start with Zohar and caused the system shift around Earth. That also forced everyone to evacuate. No, it's not Klaus. Not in this universe. Kind of similar, but no, it's not Klaus in this one. And then she learned about that, and they met with the leader of Scientia, and they opened her eyes that there's more to the U.M.N, to Vector, Hiems, and everything that anyone's supposed to know. So after this huge truth bomb, she started to understand that, by the way, my brother was right on some stuff. So she left Vector and left the KOS-MOS project behind, and currently freelancing for Scientia. And one day she got approached by Canaan and Miyuki to... There's actually a way into the Vector main server where they could find some data about the U.M.N and everything else that could be useful for Scientia too. So now they're gonna hack into the servers and find some stuff that they weren't supposed to. But before we continue, if you like what you see, then please like, share, subscribe and follow me, and don't forget to turn on the notifications so you get notified when I'm about to stream. And don't forget to check out my other channel on Twitch, you can find there HigurashiRebel. Thank you everyone, let's continue. Check for the data, there it is. Yep. Here's Shion's Vector uniform. Yes. 010. Where's the Dolby Digital 5.1? So if you use an HDMI converter, then the Dolby Surround 5.1 is not available. You're supposed to have that. That's fine. Yes. And this is definitely going to be constantly marked because this one, not just partially, but entire content is the music of Kajiriki. And it's not a problem, just maybe licensed under her name and not under the game's name. Yep, a few years before the events of the game, me and Miktam. But it's such a shame that they had to cut down the 6-episode game into 3. There's a lot of stuff missing. And it kind of feels rushed. It's kind of like the second season of Xenogears, but this is longer. And we don't have that many cutscenes. And also Miktam is already an Easter egg, because this planet is called Miktam and there's a database entry that says it's the 4th planet of the Miktam system. And why is that important? Xenogears Perfect works. The Eldritch picked up the Deus system from Miktam 04 Beta. So there's already a huge, gigantic Xenogears Easter egg there, in Miktam 04 Beta. And here is the 4th star planet of the Miktam system. Young Kevin. And the standard notification. By the way, that pendant, you get it to Shion, and that one is super important. Just wait a bit. We're gonna learn it later. And that's why boys and girls, you shouldn't play with the Zohar. You're gonna end up even worse than Klaus did. Really, technically, playing with the Zohar and then causing some massive phenomena, 3 is the worst. 3 Xenosaga is the worst damage-wise. Xenogears and Xenoblade can't even catch what happened here. So finally we have onto cutscenes, or at least it's supposed to. Which button is that? Not that? There's an auto cutscene button, where it auto skips these. Ah, select. Because now we finally have voiced cutscenes too. By the way, we already seen this cross once, back in the Encephalon for KOS-MOS.
15年前の自称変異、それは不完全な形で行われた。歪みは強制しなければならない。最初から全てお見通しってわけかい。怖い野郎だな。
Three, we already seen that cross once. That was the one that KOS-MOS was tied to with cables. In the Encephalon.
で、これが我らの姫君か。いい匂いがするな。
Yeah, for a body that's there for 2000 years now.
お前、気に入ったぜ。
And again, spoilers without context. That's someone we already know from Blade 2, and another spoiler without context. This universe is Kurome. That wasn't enough. Yeah. By the way, just as a pre-warning, Shion is going to be a really huge B in this one, but she has all the reasons for that. Oh, by the way, yeah, I forgot that. Rumi Pak. Yeah, Kashimoto here. And many others. There is a Toshio, what's his name in Bleach? And many others. Later, if I gonna play more Yakuza, we also gonna meet her in 5 or 6, I think in 5. And as a character. Nope.
俺たちの狙いはベクターにとってかなりヤバい代物だ。
Yeah.
もう少し気を引き締めてほしいものだな。
そうね。自滅するのは構わないけど、巻き添えを食うのはごめんよ。
わかってますよ。なんで私ばっかり。で、どうなの、みゆき？座標の確認、バッチリですよ。間違いありません。ここがベクターの S ラインです。
It's interesting.
じゃあ、この先に目的の特異データがあるの
There's a
ね。
bit of distortion there, and there's the reason because this place technically
私はバックアップに回
isn't
るわ。
real.
あとは3人で
It's
う
an
まくや
Encephalon
って。
dive.
ドクトスは手伝ってくれないの？
They use remote controlled devices so they won't get detected that easily.
オススマジスターエストオプティムス。
Yes, Mitch just spelled backwards.
急ぐぞ。追っ手が来る前に少しでも先に進みたいからな。
わかってますよ。
And by the way, there was the part in 2 where Canaan was in the party but wasn't playable. Here he is playable, and also Miyuki, for a time moment. Oh, and this one doesn't have dub. Oh, just like you do. Yes. Forgot to tell you, but in order to successfully carry out this mission, I made a note on information you should know ahead of time. Please access the database. The page is located here. Tutorial. Has a lot. Canaan. Or Canaan. A special enhanced memory model Relian on loan from Vector on to second Mirsha. Yeah. Whereas the sentiment battle capabilities superior to those of combat Relians. In this case, however, those capabilities are better suited for use as an AS pilot later than in battle. Shion. Wait, can I? Oh, right, I can. Okay. Former chief of the Vector 1st R&D division and closes this project to join Operation System Development. She entered Vector Industries' 1st R&D division in TC 4763 at the age of 18. Yeah. Though 2 years younger than Ellen, her accelerated pace made her 1 year senior at Vector. Following the Gnosis terrorism, okay, we have that. I read Missing Year, it was up in YouTube a few years ago with English subtitles. So when we get a bit deeper into the game, I'm gonna add extras to this. And I also played the remake of Pied Piper, and hopefully we can play the original one too soon. So I know some extra stuff. I also listened through a drama study that explained what happened with the SS crew, that how they got together, and also how they met with Chaos, and then later the Kukai Foundation. That was interesting. So there is something about that. Okay. Following the Gnosis terrorism, she left Vector and enlisted to help the Scientia impose the truth behind that string of incidents and the hidden dangers of the U.M.N. Doctus, who is also, there's a theory that this person here is actually someone from Ziggy's era that he knows really well. Not confirmed yet, but maybe. Agent of the underground organization Scientia, chief responsible for directing infiltration and combat units. Woman carries out her missions in a calm and collected manner, without breaking her smile. That's why they call her Letters of the Faint Smile. Wait, wrong universe! She went Xenosaga 6 months ago during the investigation into Grimoire's Gnosis terrorism. Yep, missing here. And successfully followed Shion, where she left Vector to join her investigating Vector and the U.M.N. Her body is a remote control type android controlled by the real Doctus by projecting her consciousness into its artificial brain to manipulate the body. Yeah, the same technology in Avatar, just this one is 10 years earlier. Her real location is top secret information even within the ranks of Scientia, and the only known by set through higher ups within the organization. She frequently speaks in Latin, saying things as Usus Magister est Optimus, practice my experiment. Errare humanum est, the error is human, and I heard that one is supposed to be an error, it's not supposed to be like that. Former systems programmer for Vector Industries' first R&D division, Shion Jr. Her best attribute is her constantly chipper and upbeat personality. Her ability to maintain her usual brightness, even under grave circumstances, is not bravado, but a sign of legitimate toughness. Joining Vector's second R&D division was the realization for her long-time wish. Currently, she is immersed in new weapons development. Yep. You already know that from the first game. Since the recap explains says every turn is a perpetual source of headaches amongst her superiors. In matter of speaking, she is a woman of her to her own desires. Quite the mechanical whiz, she is always asking Shion and the others to try out her latest inventions, which includes Shion's NWS. Pattern applications are something of a hobby for her. Yep, this universe is Navigator, by the way. The U.M.N. Smooth Network, yep. It's the wide area information network accompanying the entire galaxy. It's used in spatial hops and faster than light communications. Taking advantage of its instinctive non-locality, it uses the EPR paradox we learned about in the first game to establish connections without being bound by time or space. It was developed by Vector after Lost Jerusalem disappeared. Earth. The administration was then handed over to the Galaxy Federation, and also one lady in Blade X also almost invented this. However, no records remain from its development period. Yeah, I wonder why. Gonna learn that. So there is no way to verify any of the details. Lately, a large number of Gnosis encounters have been reported on the U.M.N. and within the Encephalon. Yeah, like back in the days, just now they start to gather information about it. The mastermind behind wait, okay. Mastermind behind the Gnosis terrorism, Grimoire Verum, has also used the U.M.N. for various events, leading some speculate about the connection between the U.M.N. and the Prince of Gnosis. Yeah. By the way, the U.M.N. is partially there in the Neko Colony universe too. They kinda using it in Kikonia, and some people used it in the Seagull one, and it's also maybe partially part of the Shard World in the Higurashi one. And it looks like that really there's not directly the same, not even inspired, but there's similar mechanism in that universe. U.M.N. reference to C.G. Wang's or Carl Gustav Jung's theory of the collective unconscious. It can explain the inconsistencies of synchronicity and the EPR paradox from a physics standpoint, as well as the mutually complementary connection and relationship between two minds and between mind and matter. aka reality and other falsehoods from Skyrim. What you see is not real. It's what you imagine is real. It's kind of like works on the same principle. That's how one of the Ether times works too. There's that I think alteration, upgrade book in Skyrim, reality and other falsehoods also says that what you see is not real. In story, it refers to a collective unconscious network where human consciousness are overlaid with and rendered outside the network. Yeah. What is terrorism? Really, I'm gonna tell more about this later. We are not there yet. Or if someone's curious, look up Pied Piper, not Pied Piper, Missing Gear. Maybe still up there with English subtitles somewhere. Popular name for the Gnosis attacks that were brought about half a year ago, and with several accomplices. We knew that a man named Grimoire Verum manipulated Gnosis and attacked the capital cities of several planets. According to records of the Contact Sound community, which was responsible for the investigation, Grimoire and his accomplices are all died within the U.M.N. Their goals and the methods by which they countered the Gnosis are still unknown, pending further investigation. Well, I already talked about the half Gnosis, that his accomplices were kind of similar to the Testaments, but created somehow differently. And they were people who got tainted by the same thing as, for example, Betty from the first game, but they could control their transformations, and they could switch between a half Gnosis form and a human form, and because of that, in their half Gnosis form they could call in Gnosis. It's kind of similar to Alan's power from SNK2. They were capable of doing that. Furthermore, Shion and Jin were involved in the incident. After its resolution, the KOS-MOS project was halted and Shion decided to leave Vector. Yeah. S-Line Division. S-Line Division, also referred to as S-Line, is a term for Vector's data administration section within the U.M.N, categorized into 4 ranks, S, A, B, C. Based on level of importance, S-Line, where Vector classified information is stored, is the highest ranking section. Therefore, it cannot be accessed without the CEO's permission. Grimoire, mastermind behind the Gnosis terrorism, was isolated within the S Division, a place known as Ars Nova. Yep. Grimoire knows this from within S Division as he attacked cities on multiple planets. Scientia. And there's a similar organization by the way in Assassin's Creed. The Edutio. An underground organization formed by a person named Melis Ortus, going to be important later, in TC 4669, as the coalition of the anti-U.M.N. groups that have been established across the galaxy. Yeah, it started back then. We're gonna learn this about in Pied Piper, hopefully, when it finally came out. It was an underground group. Its scope is large. It uses a proprietary network technology located throughout the Galaxy Federation to interact with the U.M.N. and to search for the truth behind it and Vector. Gnosis. Non-physical beings that exist in imaginary space. Supposedly physical form that cannot be made with them from normal space, but with the development of the DSSS system and the Yokomizae Silbert effect that we learned about in the first game, and harnesses the operational units, it is possible for people in normal space to interact with them. Or just get a reun, gather blood, Stabby. Phenomenon of people, things, and planets suddenly gnostifying. Not only the association of their contact with the Gnosis. Yep. This can also occur in a chain reaction fashion from great distance. As a result, urgent research is underway in search of the link to the cause. Secret data. Privileged vector data that is placed inside S division within the U.M.N. Non-public information records, mainly concerning the U.M.N. and backroom deals that have been conducted in the past, are recorded here. Shion cooperated with Scientia to collect the information and find out the truth behind Vector. Data on the Megaton and Grima came from this classified information. Do you have intel about the Megaton? No. Well, you already don't know that. You don't look at the stream. It's every single game here. New information is automatically added to the database. You should check it out frequently. Not bad. You actually became prepared. I know. Sure, it was nice, buddy. Actually, I wanted to add a lot more data files to it. Man, I didn't think even you could process all of them, so I stopped. So the rest of you after the mission is over. Quite a few, so I send them in chunks. Let's go. Yeah, if it's V, then we better one more vitality, one more reader defense, and 120 plus wake limit. Not have anything yet. Let me have that, thank you. Not anything with that. Medical S, nothing, yeah. That wasn't available yet. Yes, 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 yes. Save points, we know how to do that. Nice though. That was the previous run. Any single with broken picture? No, okay. So I don't have this room back in the emulator this. Going for probably faster just destroy this than to find another route. Anything that we destroy will be yes. So tutorial once again. By the way, this area is supposed to store classified information. It's quite easy to get into it. It's multi-targets, blah 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 blah. By the way, this is also the back menu sound for Dying Crisis 2. This. Guessing to get each capability in the correct socket in order to disengage the security. Think about the override to the object. I guess this console will allow me to rest even if I mess up. Or is this? Alright, let's keep going. That actually makes sense, by the way, that now you can just find money lying around like this. And because it mostly takes... And here it makes even more sense because this takes this virtual space, so they're technically bitcoins or something. Here's a segment address, I guess there is even here, yep. Maybe without the decoder associated with. Oh well. maximum is 8. And by the way, this one only has 15, not 18. Since gameplay by most doors are red, but gold ones are set to exist as well. Yes. Music. Yeah, this is also scratched by the previous TS too. That's maybe because why the music stopped. Oh, it's the opposite, right? I like that there's multiple levels of speed in this one. This didn't stop, that's for sure, right? Yeah. If I have to guess, it's because the previous PS2 scratched the disc. It's not a big problem. So this is the last security checkpoint for Sector 1. It is. According to Miyuki, this security is design engaged by color input. Yep. So if this is the security for the most confidential data, then how come the vector doesn't have constant data leaks? Alright, let's go to the next sector. But really, if this is their data security, how come it doesn't have constant leaks? It's sector 2. We got guard system set up from here on. Maybe we're gonna try. Let's try that. Let's see, will this fix the music problem or not? That looks like not. Okay. Well, hopefully just the first disc and not the second one too. Give it a nice ball for later. There's a guard system. Yep. Yeah, no time for being a coward. Better get contacted the necessary before it notices me. Yes, 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 yes. And by the way, they maybe copied this from Final Fantasy X because I saw screenshots of Final Fantasy X, its combat system, and kind of similar to this one. Maybe physically just canvas. The music is there once again, but who knows for how long. Encounter. Only new thing here is using a special attack. Otherwise everything is the same as before. Yeah, 99, 99, yep. This is the maximum. By the way, they're using the Japanese pictures there. They didn't replace those. There is even more noticeable. And something was poisoned there. Or at least weak against poison. Poison. Or poison. We don't have aura anymore, we only have beam. That's a familiar system, just we don't have double circle and double triangle. Yes, 50% more takes half, recover, yep, and takes no damage. Yes. Sentiments, ailments, yeah. There's some new stuff here and there, but didn't really change that much. Oh, right, this one's in the other side. And by the way, in this one, until you have the stuff to counter it, in this one the Gnosis can do the canonical thing is that they can turn into crystals. There's a new state that only Gnosis can do, called crystallize. Well, not only because there's an item too. I already talked about this, the 7 moons problem. But if you have 100% G resist, after that you can use that how much you want. They won't get the state. It's the same as the Gnosis one. So you can get an item that recovers your character with a full HP and AP without any negative side effects if they have 100% resist. For dirt cheap. But getting there is going to cost a lot. Yes, 3 strikes, blah 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 blah. Alright, that needs to. Not too bad. Special move. And that's the tutorial. Miyuki, Canaan, Shion. Yeah, that's the tutorial there. So that. At least this one is the same in the original language too. Break Bashi. Here comes the best tutorial. I'm going to use Nestoria for grind a few levels. Not much, just 2 or 3. We'll make the early game and the tutorials and bit easier. And also in the beginning they do quite fast. But EP3 is a really pretty game. Not the prettiest PS2 game, but it is pretty. Spec attacks like before, but now you can only do it in the beginning of a fight, right? You can't switch positions anymore like in 2. The FS. You can overkill with the special attacks. That's also kind of similar from what I saw in Final Fantasy X. So now you can do this. Do an extra. That's the heat. That's the take the aggro eater. It doesn't work as good as in Blade. Well, it didn't work well in Blade either, but here even less. Because most of the times it doesn't matter. So this is sector 3. The system uses comprised of 5 sectors. So I guess we're at the halfway point. Sorry. No. It was a similar dungeon in Rebirth? Yeah, in Rebirth 3. No, I still accidentally go there and press the button. This file on? Yeah. And these are important. And they all more like that, yeah. Currently structure law. Basic theory that systemized the method of to construct vector space within the U.M.N. Conceived by the mathematician Carnegie, who was the head of Vector Industries, administration and operations at the beginning of 4400 BTC. After formation, after this formation, all vector spaces were constructed based on the structural aspect under special cases. Maybe that this theory advanced the research on vector space by a century. The structural law was named after Carnegie to honor his achievement. However, the reason how he reached this theory was never disclosed. The rumors that the theory was completed with the help of leaders of Vector, but really shrouded in mysteries, or it was the ruins. Geodetic structure. Geodetic construction was invented by American architect Buckminster Fuller. It is a method of building domes wherein regular icosahedrons approximating spheres and overlaid with a network of many equilateral triangles. Visually represent the basic makeup of a superstructure U.M.N. It's often referred to as a geodesic dome, hence its term. Dive. Is it a picture from 2? Looks like. This was the act of accessing virtual space of another person's mental world via the U.M.N. They have a similar thing in Kikonia. If entering the encephalon, the full term is encephalon dive, but it's generally shortened to simply dive. Direct approach. And that's a picture from the first game's intro. This is the act of breaking the link between two parties connected via virtual seat VR2000 and transferring the consciousness into the target encephalon. It's commonly called a dive for short. However, directly intruding in another person's consciousness is a high-risk proposition. Yep. Memories of a person with whom a past time and place were shared may resonate. Yes, we learned this from the first game. There's always danger that one's sense of self whereas other will become lost, and that the world between the real world and the imaginary one will blur. Yeah, it's going to be a problem in Pied Piper. This is the first PT cannon. Wait, no, that's the Dragon. Transport technology that uses a gate jump technology with the U.M.N. to transfer goods to random locations. Because KOS-MOS' weapons system includes this capability, It doesn't need to look around oversized weapons, they can simply be transferred from the storage facility as needed. However, only goods with static data can be directly transferred. Interestingly, Blade 2 and 3 can also do this. Theoretically, lifeforms with fluctuating data can be transferred directly, but it's more or less impossible given the major mental and physical difficulties that can arise. To transfer living things, one must use a spaceship equipped with an appropriate system. Remote monitoring, that's also a picture from 2. There's even Dmitry Yuriev there, and Julie Misray. Before a connection can be made with certain areas accessed via the U.M.N, a user's psyche must be synchronized with the area. There goes the music once again. An operator can make a connection if the monitor user's mental wavelengths are synchronized with the desired area. If the wavelengths are not synchronized, then an operator can send sympathetic wavelengths to the user in an attempt to synchronize them. That's also a picture from the first game. One must use the U.M.N to gate jump. U.M.N transfer columns are areas that serve as gate jump portals. These columns exist as relay points in each designated area. By the way, those who don't know, there are similar things in the Star Wars universe, at least in the extended one, and there are navigational buoys for that. These even can be found in the flight sim ones like X-Wing, TIE Fighter, X-Wing Alliance. They are there. And in X-Wing Alliance, sometimes you even have to use them. If you just press H, so the hyperspace jump, that's just the retreat like in the other games. But if you're near one and it says, and you press H, then you go to the other side of the same navigation buoy. So there's a similar thing in the extended Star Wars universe. Each column has its own range of influence, and it's not possible to gate jump as the column effective range. That's very wrong, kiddo. Just see, says Dina. Gate jumping also incurs a toll that is collected whenever column is used. A toll charged on a pay-as-you-go basis varies according to the distance traveled through hyperspace and ship's classification. Average ship like the Azov would pay 24.6 G per unit of hyperspace traveled. Doesn't sound that bad. Oversized ships such as the Durandal would pay about 3.6885 times the total of an average ship. And that's a bit worse. Yeah. U.M.N pools, seen as indicating transport routes to spaceships, constantly being transited by U.M.N transfer columns. When a gate jump is performed, one must receive either destination pools each column emits or pools or road pools each column receives. Yeah. The extended Star Wars universe has a similar thing. They'll up once again soon. Seems that are transferred when objects are destroyed. So I better be careful when I low on HP. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. There's a few more of these. There was another path here. Yeah. Alright, this one also, yeah. Antidote. Neat stuff. Where's the switch? No. Accidentally touched it. I remember right, this one is some backtracking for the other half. Oh, that's the exit, yeah. Well, I don't get that. Why do they have to learn every ether between each game? That's the other way. Okay. It's the other way. I'm floating! Little ghost! Woo! I have to go back all the way there. Hey, why is this one so quiet? Music-wise. Can you go just a wee bit faster? Another blade one. Yep, that was as 3 of us now. Let him press. Dinosaur blow. Oh. Where was the part that goes into the middle column? Because there was one for that. Let's flash routes too. There's another one somewhere. So I need to go there. Right, you can just... Oh, right. Well, you can go around here. Ez a bit horror. Na, necessary.
バッチリですよ。最大出力。
Oh, another one.
先輩、あとお願い。
Alright, that's one of those break. There's Chekhov. Now I clear this area. Nah, not necessary. Should be fine like this. Have to go back all the way. Here. Sector 4. To go to Sector 4 to get to the main server room. There's no turning back. Yeah. It's criticism again. Might as well use the trap that I just got. Yep, in this way you have to place them and then set them up. Trap is a long range control type, so I need to first set it and then detonate it. Yep. R2 plus square and then press square to detonate it. Yeah. No interest I have in this talk by the icons at the bottom of the screen. Should make my battle strategy easier. Yep.
ちょっとやばいかな。
Save. Yes, yes, yes. Need a tiny bit more. Senpai, senpai. First game already had special attacks that could develop like this. Junior had one that he got from Geijo. Oh, even better.
っとやばいかな。
この
Is there more of them? No? Good. This can be used here.
3分で蹴りをつける。
It's far more streamlined. I just don't like it that you don't have to think that much anymore. But it's definitely way faster. We made it! Now the hard part. Now it's the hard part. Yeah. But before that, just on my back. Okay, so. Oh, sure, that's an interesting way to stand.
この先第2ミルチアメインサーバールームとなります。現在メインサーバーへのログインに対して
Yep.
アクセスセキュリティがかかっています。
So we have this side route. And they really stuck here.
セカンダリセキュリティの解除を実行します。
If that's their data bank, I don't know how they won't have constant data leaks.
セカンダリセキュリティの解除。 プライマリセキュリティの解除を実行します。
No response. Yeah. Hey, where's the thingy?
メインサーバーへのログインを実行します。
Pom, 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 pom. I should have said before. Main 65 main server room. Not much information is stored here. But it's the only local server formation space. As it is the U.M.N. laid out throughout the star cluster. Now the current mission objective is to acquire the top state data accessible to that terminal. You mean this? Well, I don't have any other choice, so. Cutscene time. And secret photo.
みゆきは周辺を監視して。カナン、データのバックアップをお願い。
すでに取り掛かっている。おい、ここまで来てミスはするなよ。
Yeah.
分かってますよ。でもこんなことで本当にベクターの悪事を暴けるんですかね。
Well, who knows?
みゆき、あなたこの U.M.N の正体を理解している。
Do you? I don't think so.
え？それって広域ネットワークシステムとか。
非局所的なつながりを持った広域情報ネットワークシステム。その特質を利用し、空間跳躍や超高速通信に使用。
模範的な回答ね。でも本当にそれだけだと思う。
どういうことだ？
この星団をつなぐ広域ネットワーク。
Yep.
でも誰がいつそんなものを整備したの？ゲートジャンプ用のコラムだって誰が設置したと思う？
Yep.
そもそも基礎理論の構築だってベクターのどの部門の仕事なの？それは。
Yeah, that's a good question.
そう、誰も知らない、イコール誰も設置していない、誰も作っていない。もともとそこにあったもの。
Why didn't you ask your other friend?
それを自分たちの発明のように使わされているだけ。
Why you ask your purple hat friend instead of the
あ
blue
くま
haired
で個
one?
人の推測に過ぎん。想像
Purple haired
力が
friend
たく
could
ま
not
し
give
いの
you
は
the
認め
answer.
るが、
Why did you ask
物
her?
的証拠は何
You
もな
had
い。
to. But you didn't.
そうですよ、飛躍しすぎじゃありません？ そうね。私も考えすぎであってほしいと思うわ。それなら誰もが幸せに暮らせるものね。でもだからこそ確かめなくちゃ。
いや。
彼らがこの U.M.N を使って何をしようとしているのか、それを突き止める必要があるのよ。あれ、先輩、ちょっと変ですよ。
What do you mean?
ちょっとって何よ。報告は的確にっていつも言ってるでしょ。それが300秒ほど前から漁師の流れに奇妙な揺らぎが出てて、フラクタルパターンみたいですね、これ。
That's a nice bouquet.
何者かが
ボート
こちらに干渉しようとしている感じです。迎撃機が上がったの？それとも点検？
違うな。マクロファージからの物理的な接触はないし、電形の監視網へのスプーフィングも破られた形跡はない。これは傍観、いや観察か。とにかくそんな感じのものだ。
観察？誰が？何のために？
Who knows?
そこまでは分かりませんよ。出たわ。
あと少しだ。
急いで。これ以上の長いは危険だわ。
No, it's not. It's perfectly fine. Nice, no, it's perfectly fine. Nothing to worry about. It's really fun. Plop 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 plum 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 plum.
甘く見ないで。
Break target control. Yes, I know. So there are the patterns here. So really, this is kind of the basics of the aggro system from Blade.
エーテルドライブ。
Necessary find ES Gold with a similar color pattern, but that was Ghost. Wait, no, it's a skeleton. It's a true skeleton. Right. It's a true skeleton. Big rate of more than 20. Target, who knows? Limit poison. Oh, that was the thingy, huh? But I can't even poison this thing yet. I don't have anyone who can do that. And resist eyes. No one can do ice damage yet either. Definitely break damage. There was a hit, so doesn't do much. Skills now. that, and it's supposed to be broken. Yep, there we go. Can I make another one after that? Ah, keep it. Keep it just in case. Break it up. We're going quite fast. I don't know if I can brace thing once again. Ouch. It's the two. Then it goes to another break. There we go. Maybe. That should, yes. There we go.
よし
Medical asshole. Well, thanks Miyuki, you won't be in the party anymore. Thanks for learning that. That's completely useless. This early as okay? If the Gremlins or something but as this early.
シオン、脱出するわ。あなたはこっちよ、レアリエ。イエステーソン。
カナン、いい加減覚えてもらいたいものだな。
Nope.
あら、悪気はないのよ。余計なことに頭を使いたくないだけ。
ちょっと揺れるわよ。振り落とされないで。先輩。
If she can go through with her feet. And the kitty. That's a familiar face.
この感じ。
Familiar face. If you could say that. That was a familiar face.
打たないで。みゆき、ディスコネクト急いで。
That was a tutorial. Interesting that technically 2 has the shortest tutorial. Because one comment explains one thing, the second thing, third one, and that's all. After that you're on your own. And find that pen that is not a texture anymore, it's an actual 3D model.
今回はちょっときつかったわね。
I still don't get that. How did they allow her to take Dina? When she's not part of Vector anymore?
大丈夫ですか先輩。おお、セクシー。みゆき、あなた最近親父入ってるわよ。
What? 85C is 85C? Maybe even 85D? More like a C. From the distances.
よかったですね。無事ミッションコンプリートですよ。誰かさんのおかげで苦労したけどね。またちゃんと反省してますよ。
Really? How does she have Dina?
それより肝心のデータは
How could Vector
まさか
allow her to
今の
take
でよし
Dina?
と。
大丈夫だ。コンマ002ナノセコンドの差でバックアップが完了した。
さあ、
002 nanosecond. Yeah.
さすが元ベクター一局の開発主任で兄貴に負けず劣らず大した腕前じゃない。
翻訳メソッドがいい加減でちょっと遅れ気味だったけど、あなたのおかげでなんとかね。ありがとうドクトゥス。
私はこれからバックアップしたデータの解析に入るわ。頼まれていた調査の件も含めて結果が分かったらすぐに知らせてあげる。
よろしく。
データの転送頼むわよレアリエ。
Anti-U.M.N faction and still using a connection gear.
エラーレフマヌムエステ。
When the connection gear is using the U.M.N.
先輩もしかして怒ってます？別に。結果オーライ。家庭にはこだわらない主義よ。そうですか。よかった。よくない。後で基礎構築テキスト送るからちゃんと返答しなさい。またですか？基礎を飛ばして組むからメソッドが言語に対応しきれなくなるのよ。はい。でも本当にこれでいいんですかね？今になってそういうこと言うんだ。手伝わせろって無理やり加わってきたの自分でしょ？だって私たちのしてることって犯罪行為じゃないですか。
Visible overact?
そうね。でもグノーシステロの一件もあるし、グノーシス現象が U.M.N と強制依存の関係にあるのは間違いない。現行の U.M.N が危険なのは明らかだわ。
Yep.
ドクトゥスたちが言うように、もしかしたらグノーシスを呼び出したのはミズラヒ博士でもユーティック機関でも移民船団でもなく U.M.N を構築した
They also restructured
ベクタ
Dina.
ーそのもの
Has
だったの
different
かもし
shoulder.
れない。
Deck part is now
も
blue
しそう
instead
だ
of
としたら
purple.
コスモスの
Also, the
開発だっ
exhausted
て
lens.
何か別の目的があったのかも。だから
But only Dina got a huge redesign. Other two lose the same. Smile alterations just here and there.
わからない。でもこのままじゃいけないと思うから。それにできるならあの子には辛い思いはさせたくないの。
There's going to be a part later that's maybe referenced in Rebirth 1. With that sword and then later the other sword and you're supposed to collect data before that.
自分のし
To
て
be
きたこ
referenced
と
to
っ
an
て
event
ね、
later here.
否定するのには。
Anyway, as the shonen ending is almost what was with Saga 3's.
こっちでも何か進展があったら連絡しますね。え、でも
And also the
くれぐれも気をつ
Uzume
けて
Kurome
ね
thing.
誰より
Don't have
危
that
険
here.
なのはその場所にいるあなたなんだから。また脅かさないでくださいよ。
Where did you put that? We have more hiding systems than Snake.
あなたは
Really, there's a pocket dimension on her underpants too, like the girls in Musume. Hyper resonance. Wait, wrong universe. This isn't Tales of the Abyss.
またか。最近多いわね。疲れが溜まってるのかしら。
I wonder, I wonder. Pedea Island. There's a bunch of new ones. How about the Piazzolla? After the alchemical process of whitening, as put forth by Carl Gustav Jung's Psychology and Alchemy, year to unit number 667 is a variant with milky white hair. Not is, was. Well, technically still is. Being with recuperative abilities that surpass even nanomachines in rebuilding speed, he is practically immortal. As Junior, he is a survivor of the URTV, Udo Retrovirus Force, that was artificially created to oppose Udo. He has developed the mental instability as a result of Udo waveform contamination during the Mission conflict, even before that, and through the URTV force to which he belonged. Born as a conjoined twins with Junior, the two strongly felt like they were part of each other's body even after they were separated. Yeah, we learned this in 2. His Udo contamination was the result of the collapse of the psychic bond caused when Junior, Rubido, shut his mind out of fear of Udo going out of control. Abdul consequently felt that he had been betrayed and abandoned by his other half, his own brother. His obsessive manner when dealing with Junior was the result of the psychological shock he has received at that time, even before. His helmet personality was the result of voodoo contamination, but even before that incident he was unable to understand the fear of injury or death experienced by others due to his immortal condition. Yep. Something similar happens in psychology. Perhaps as a reaction to this, he developed an acute fear of rejection and solitude, and was pathologically obsessed with forming relationships with others. Yeah, no wonder. After mission conflict, he was found lying unconscious under the central shaft of the Song of Nephilim by sailors, who had attempted to escape from mission by forcing the song to surface. At this time, Alvid was half dead, presumably as a result of being killed by waveforms which has been released by Nigrido, the URTV's failsafe and acting executioner. Yep. Though he finally recovered from the attack of his would-be executioner, he returned to the Uticon organization and Ormus. He joined forces with Margulis and Sellers to obtain the Y data. Yes, we know. Shioki Mizaki had left, although Alvid's true objective was a complete link with Udo, which is the only possible way of granting his desire for oblivion. Together with Margulis, he doggedly pursued Momo, Misery's final creation, in order to retrieve Zoar that stepped on Milsha. His unsure fixation on Momo has resulted not only in his desire to seize the Y data, but the relationship shared between Junior and the girl whom Momo had been modeled, Sakura Mizrahi. Sakura and Junior's friendly behavior caused Abidu to feel lonely and excluded, eventually leading him to endlessly wonder he might interact with others in the same fashion. However, being able to understand others' pain and consequently able to touch their hearts, he would only express his emotion in a twisted manner. His seemingly cruel behavior towards not only Momo but the Kirschwasser's as well was another rapt reaction or reflection of these envious feelings towards unity and emotional communication. Having obtained the Y data, revived Mirsha and finally linked again with Udo, he was assimilated into Udo, becoming one with its waveforms and awaited oblivion at the hands of Junior's anti-waveforms. Yep. Did you forget how to leave someone apart? The very annoying and long boss fight. When Amido's true desire was unified with Junior, his choice of death was the only means of escaping from the impossibility of that reality, played by the thought that if unity is impossible, oblivion is the next best thing. He achieved oblivion at Junior's hands by accepting Udo's characteristics into part of himself. In his mind, this must have been the best way to get close to Junior. He chose to rely on Junior, even though he could have used his reality to cause a mutual annihilation effect with Udo, whose own is further proof of his notion. While oblivion did grant a portion of his wish, it was also unable an effort to escape reality he faced. Ellen, Rich Day. Former Vice Chief of Vectorensis 1st Island Division, KOS-MOS Project Joint Operation System Development. Yeah. Joined Vector Society Division in TC 4764 after graduating from the University of Borneo. Yep, we learned this in the first game. By 2 years older than former Chief Shion. There we use the opposite one. He is 1 year her junior at Vector. Acting as Vice Chief for the duration of Shion's time at Vector, he continuously supported Shion and gathered her trust and that of his subordinates with his diligent work ethic. The terms simple and honest describe this affable young man perfectly. He was appointed R&D Chief after Shion's departure from Vector and sent to 5th Jerusalem. He cared for Shion, but due to past events concerning Shion and her former love, Kevin Winnicott, and his own personal insecurities regarding Kevin, he doesn't often access his thoughts and emotions. Sammy appears to be quite wealthy, but he prefers to avoid relying on them. He's always fishing. Wilhelm, founder and CEO of the interplanetary conglomerate Vector Industries. Having created the U.M.N, A giant network unifying all of space and built facilities for hyperspace navigation, the company has become the de facto nucleus of our civilization, with a firm grasp of all its technology. Yep. Was Gnosis Federation Executive Committee Director, his origins and personal history are shrouded in mystery. Furthermore, in addition to his official role, he commands the secret order of cloaked figures known as Testaments, attempting to meddle with the destinies of Shion, KOS-MOS, and the others. Yeah. The only ones to understand Wilhelm's fixation with Shion and KOS-MOS, his purpose and motivation, are the Testaments, and even they may not truly understand his plans. Supposedly, his office is constantly filled with the music of Wagner. Yeah. Calling chaos Yeshua and reading the moments of the compass of order and chaos, he plots to change the very shape of the world. Yeah. Voyager. Father of Wilhelm, he appears before Shion and the others several times as a testament. He is thought to share some connection with Ziggy. Yep. And also, some stuff made him look like a Sith. New Testament. Logout follower of Wilhelm, he appears before Shion and the others several times as testament. Louis Verge's testament form. Yep. Red Cloak follower of Wilhelm, he constantly monitors Shion and KOS as a testament under Wilhelm's direct orders. Black Testament. Black Cloak follower of Wilhelm. He appears before Shion and the others several times as a testament. Zig is calling him Voyager, so that the two share some connection in the past. Yeah. Black Cloak follower of Wilhelm, he was made of testament by Wilhelm after a space-time anomaly in mission space. The surroundings are unknown. Yep. Because this is none other than Nabi though. Canaan Kukai, representative trustee of the Galaxy Mentioned Autonomous States Special Foundation. The Kukai Foundation, like Junior, he has survived the URTV, yep, force that was created to combat voodoo. Named for the alchemical process of blackening as put forth by cargoes of Jung's theology and alchemy. URTV unit number 669, a variant processing the name Nigrido, pitch black, or blackening. Darkening, that's Corpus Party. Presently hiding his identity as URTV, he fills the role of representative trustee for the Kukai Foundation, along with Junior. Black-haired with dark green eyes, calming personality, shoulders the trust and expectations of the Foundation members and holds powerful political influence. He was lauded for his defense and unification of victims prior to the enactment of the Species Preservation Act. He possesses the power to control the thoughts of others and the power of hypnotic suggestion, influence of a person's consciousness, using his voice as a medium. Yeah. If Junior's the practical controlling force behind the Kukai Foundation activities, it can be said that Gaiden is the political force. Why couldn't the Sozakis do this? They can in another world, but that's not out yet. And for a very long time it won't be. Sorry. He has thought the combined efforts of them both that the Kukai Foundation's continued existence is made possible, but either it would fail. Taken in by Helmer after the mission conflict, Gaiden inherited the name of Zose Kukai upon establishment of the Foundation. Incidentally, Zose Kukai is the name of a fictitious industrialist invented by the second mission government in order to pool a special activities capital. And the other activities, Gaiden has not programmed to react to voodoo waveforms. His role was to act as a failsafe in the event that a powerful variant went berserk, specifically the elimination of Junior. Furthermore, Dmitry Ryuryev planned to extend his own life by transplanting his psyche into Gaiden, using Gaiden's special powers. After his body was taken over by Dmitry, Gaiden was forced to work towards Dmitry's goals, regardless of his own will. Yeah. Chaos. Slyboy with an expression perpetually bringing its sorrow and a far-sighted and philosophical manner of speech, distinguished by his transparent eyes and silver hair. And really, when I got a branch for my orange tree, currently it tries to grow back because it was sick. Hopefully we'll make it. The guy who sells flowers kind of like him. As he refuses to mention anything his past beyond his name, his personal history, and even the question of whether he remembers it in himself are surely a mystery. It seems as though he spent a great deal of time with Captain Matthews and his crew. He was the earliest class. Yep, Scientia dramatically about that. Canaan and Miyuki. Central figure to KOS-MOS project, joined Operation Sion's superior and former lover. Yep. Man of great brilliance with a bright future ahead of him. And he was of protecting Shion during an ascent in which the archetype went berserk. Yep, sent in the first game. During an activation test. Wasn't an activation test? Why are they saying that here? Because it was Cherenkov. He got the activation keys from, by the way, Kevin himself, because we can see that in the cutscene. Because he knew that it was unstable, but he tried to prove something. After his death, Shion continued his work, taking the development of KOS-MOS into her own hands. To generate a gentle young man who inspired trust in his stubbornness, his expression was occasionally darkly clouded. Archetype KOS-MOS. In Jungian physiology, archetype is the portion of the mind which is passed on hereditary. It is said that the model upon which the unconscious instinct working as the mind are structured. Yeah, and not long ago, a Japanese boy kind of proved this with butterflies. In the story, the name is given to Pedea Island, designed by Kevin. Test type KOS-MOS, aka D1, or version 1. A frame put together by Shion and the others after transplanting the core module of the partially destroyed archetype into a spare frame. Christian KOS-MOS version 1, or D1. Partially, in order to shake up memories of the incident when archetype went out of control, the S3 of this module's design was much closer to that of a human body. Thermoelectronic sensors were installed inside the body to record real-world data. Yeah, and that's how design was from the archetype that somehow she has TKPs. Command frame aka D2 or version 2. A frame created by the second R&D division was second mission during the KOS-MOS OS tests. Microsoft referred to it as version 2. In order to shield her internal organs. What? She don't have that. From shocks delivered to the outer body during combat, the body was filled with fluorescent blue anti-G gel. The hypertension device, which has taken the form of a visor in version 1, was miniaturized and installed into her forehead. Yep, that was the thingy. Her body was designed with the incorporation of the tertiary weapon system in mind. Its resilience was increased dramatically. Didn't seem like that in 2. Technically, if you look at the stats, they lowered her defense and ether attack drastically from what it was in the first game. And the level 3 or version 3 or D3. And there was a in-between version that got destroyed by Doctus, but that's missing here. Human battle android developed by the Interplanetary Conglomerate Vector Industries. Being created entirely from mechanical parts, especially rare in this era of advanced reality technology. Yeah, and somehow turned into Blade later. In another universe. Level 2 now. In all matters, she places priority on 3 fundamentals of logic, efficiency, and duty. She protects her creator Shion unconditionally. She is equipped with an artificial personality OS in hopes of functioning smooth communication with facilitating smooth connections with others. And her tone is that of an outrage subservient to humans. And she is actually just prioritizing logic and efficiency, however, she can often be difficult to handle. And there's also a horsey version called Mihono Bourbon in U.M.N. KOS-MOS is the term applied to the anti-Gnosis combat system, stands for KOS-MOS-based strategical multiple operation systems. Yep. She currently uses the cutting-edge version 3 body, there was an in-between, complete with multiple upgrades based on battle data gathered from version 2, but the basic construction is the same as in version 2. The latest parts have been implemented in the primary armor, frame, and drive system, giving a pronounced increase in battle capabilities. Yeah, we'll see that. Shelly. Mutant born through life recycling. Secretary to Guy and Kukai and the Duranda's operator. Oh, so we're running out of time. Okay, we're gonna read this later. Because there's many more. Let's quickly gonna save. Was there a U.M.N port here? There's incoming mail on the resident PC. I wonder who was it from. Is there a safe spot somewhere here? It's pretty messy. It will be embarrassing if anyone sees it. Of course, hang in the closet. Yep. Food sometimes goes missing. Maybe there's a wild monkey or some other animal around. find a safe spot somewhere here. It is pretty. Ah, there it is. Dolphin! Okay, so we continue from here next time with first the database and then we're going to explore around in the shoreline here and go into the nearby island. And we're gonna get that mail and continue the main story. But for now, thank you everyone for watching. If you liked them, please like, share, subscribe and follow me. And don't forget to turn on the notifications so you get notified when I'm about to stream. And don't forget to check out my other channel on Twitch, you can find it as HigurashiRebel. Thank you everyone, and I will see you soon with more Musume. Now there's a new Halloween event. So we're gonna combine that with the aptitude test because I need to get the free test on A. I already managed to get a B rank, but I want an A rank on that. And we'll see. And also collecting cards and tickets because next week Tuesday, and don't forget, please think you can take me. We're gonna have Machan after that. And I want her. I want to give her a career that she couldn't have.